Hello, and welcome to this afternoon challenge. I have two Irish whiskeys. Now, this is called the Busker. Sorry, I had it upside down. The Busker, introduced in 2020. This is the maroon label, the single grain Irish whiskey. It's all grain whiskey, no malt, no single malt. 44.3% alcohol, so it's pretty strong, and it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels and ex-marsala wine casks. Marsala wine. I'm gonna go eat some chicken marsala, but all kidding aside, no age statement. There's a new label since I bought this one. True story, I bought this at Walmart. True story. Now here is O'Neill's finest spirit. Now I don't know if that's Ireland's finest spirit, but I bought it at Total Wine and More. It was like $15.99, so I figured what a deal. And then I noticed it dropped a dollar. Now it's $14.99. $14.99. This is not a half-size bottle. This is a full bottle. If it'll focus, I'd be happy. There's no website for this product, and I couldn't find out when it was introduced because it's not even trademarked. I couldn't find out any trademark data. I kept looking. I was like, why didn't I have it on the trademark list? You notice nowhere on here does it say it's registered, a registered trademark of the United States Patent Office, which is strange. There it's focusing finally. So it's aged 5 years in ex-bourbon barrels. See, these are both aged in ex-bourbon barrels, but it's finished in double charred oak barrels, double charred oak. So they blast it with fire, char it, then they blast it again, double charred. Okay, it's from West Cork Distillery, which does have a website. Pretty extensive one, gives you a lot of good information, but actually they don't list this one. So I get the impression that it is a private label brand for Total Wine and More, but I cannot really back that up. Although I do think the evidence seems to point that way. Yes, I think the evidence does point that way. Poured a little bit too much, but let's see what we can do here. All right, well, let's look at the website for the Busker. Right with you. Hold on a second. All right, so the Busker is only around 5 years, not an old brand. It's from Royal Oak Distillery, which is older than 5 years. Bourbon cask, marsala cask, serving sections, neat on the rocks. There's a close-up of it. They got a new label, if you notice, a little bit different label with the embossed glass in the front. Still got that nice rocks glass. I haven't seen it in years. I don't know if it's really around much anymore. It's won awards, but it's like 3 years ago, you see, recent. There's also a single malt. And those are just the two pieces, single pot still. Those are the three pieces that make up the whole, which is this one, the blended. So they're pretty clever. They're taking this blended whiskey here and they're taking the pieces that go into it and they're selling them as separate products. So it's kind of a scam in a way, but hey, but you know, nobody made me buy it. Single pot still, single grain, and single malt. I wouldn't have bought, honestly, I wouldn't have bought these products except that they had it at closeout, on closeout at Walmart, and closeout at Walmart for $10. This was years ago. So for $10, I mean, hey, I'll take the risk. Not that there's much of a risk, right? Okay. Now you'll notice that the Busker is much lighter. Try not to pour too much. It's not working out. Not working out. I don't care if I get rid of this one. I'm not too thrilled with this one, honestly. Okay, I don't hate it. John Mallory says, beer mug, thumb up. Cheers, guys. Cheers to you, John. All right, so you can see most likely that well, I don't know if you can see by looking at this. Maybe you can tell that the Busker's lighter. Yeah, it's straw. This one is gold. This one is straw. So it's pale. Are they adding coloring to the Busker? I would seriously doubt that. Seriously doubt that. Whose grain are they using? What kind of grain is it? Is it corn or, as they say in Europe, maize? Most likely it's corn. Could be wheat. Could be rice. Well, honestly, it could be any grain. It's not malted barley. That's their single malt down below on the website. Okay. I think at 44.3% alcohol versus 40, I should be a little apart, but sometimes you can get a little tricked. I just think the weird flavor of it's going to differentiate it. That odd grain whiskey. I don't know what it tastes like. Cheerios or something? Cornflakes? I don't know. It tastes like something I don't really want to drink. All right, let's go with the aroma first. Ain't much happening here. Maybe some grain, such as corn, but it's like white hominy. It's like the white corn. I can't believe it. Perhaps multigrain. I don't know. The aroma's kind of tricky on this. Sometimes the aroma could be real funny, you know, but then when you start tasting it, it's like, oh, okay, and then you don't really get mixed up too much. Taste time. Cheers. So far I've gotten it correct 11 times, and I've gotten it wrong 3 times. I actually got it right at 12 times and wrong 3 times, but I had mistakenly doubled up a challenge, so I deleted it. So it's 11 correct, 3 wrong. And I'm thinking this will be 12 correct and 3 wrong. Woo. I don't know. It's coming across like a 40%, 80 proof. Medium body, dry finish. But it's kind of bold in the flavor. And I'm thinking, don't know, but I'm thinking there's a little peaty note. And I've said O'Neill seemed like it's an Irish whiskey that has a peat note. Not a peated Irish whiskey. I wouldn't say peated, but just a peat note. They could be throwing in some peated grain in there or peated malt. Hard to say. but it's distinctive in some way. Well, now for those 3 times I got it wrong, it wasn't. Yeah, this has that odd vanilla, kind of rough harshness to it. That ethanol, that grain alcohol flavor, that base grain alcohol. Because with these Irish blended whiskeys, they're using a base whiskey, a grain, a column still grain whiskey. And that's the base. The flavor is going to come from the single malts, more or less. With Canadian blended whiskey, the grain whiskey is the base, the backbone, the body. Then the single malts, the single rye, or they don't use the term straight rye in Canada. The wheat whiskey, the malted barley whiskey, that's where the flavors will come from. Scotland, same thing. You got your base, that's the grain alcohol, the grain whiskey. Then the single malts add the flavor. And the base whiskeys in Canada, Ireland, Scotland are all aged at least 3 years in oak. Now in the United States, they do the same thing. They use a base grain alcohol for the 80% the body. But unlike those I say Commonwealth, Ireland left the Commonwealth in 1949, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But those countries in the United States, you can use unaged grain whiskey as your base. Don't have to, of course, it's allowed. So you could drink an American blended whiskey that's 80% unaged, raw, grain neutral spirits. Not passing judgment. I'm saying that's the regulation. I have many of those. I have some that are all whiskey aged. See, but the unaged is not called whiskey. It's called grain neutral spirits. You see. Which can also be used to age, which can also be used to make vodka. Okay. This has a little, you see what I wanted to say, and I never said it on air. This even has a little coconut flavor. Now you say, oh, going crazy. Too many reviews, too many challenges, going mad. Coconut, as if. I don't know. Doesn't sound right. It can't be right. But it does have that kind of character to it. I know that just doesn't add up. But it is like that shredded coconut. Woo. Okay, I'm going to say this as the O'Neill's. And it is. I don't have to look at the label because this is deep gold. As you can see, if it'll focus. And this one here is so pale. Oh, so very pale. Like straw, which my grass outside is turning into straw because we haven't gotten rain for 6 weeks. It's a horrible thing. Okay. Now, you think of Louisiana, rainy. Yes, but we've had some awful droughts. 2 out of the last 3 years. And this one's turning into that awful 2023 drought, which killed so much of my stuff. I could water it. I should water. I've been watering some plants, like those young azaleas, but it's rough. It's terrible. I've been praying for rain. Okay. Which one tastes better? Well, I know which one costs more. The Busker is definitely not $14.99. Now, I mean, it's true. I bought it for $10. This I'll admit, but that was Walmart. They had it on closeout for $10, so I bought it. Never saw it again at Walmart or the regular triple distill. Okay, that's their issue. Normally, you're going to pay well above $25. $25, well above that. You're just going to do it. But I think I don't know actually. Let's see. Liquor enthusiast says, I like a good, reasonably priced Irish whiskey now and then. I'm just like you. I like a good, reasonably priced Irish whiskey now and then. Is this one a good, reasonably priced Irish whiskey? Well, I think so. It's very divisive. So if you look at the reviews, you got 50% love it. The other 50% want to dump it down the drain and they hate it. Say it's terrible. I just think that it's kind of unusual for Irish whiskey because it's a little strong, kind of, or let's say bold in the flavor. So some people take it as harsh and rough and whatnot, but I don't think it's that way. But I think you got to be ready for it. Powers Gold Label is a nice one to get. I've never had Powers. Never had Powers. But I would like to try Powers. And in fact, I would strongly consider it once I finish all my Irish whiskey, which I'm coming down to the last bottle. And I bet nobody can guess what my last Irish whiskey bottle is, unopened. But when I finish with that one, then we'll move on to other products. O'Neill's is a winner in my booklet. A winner, but just get ready. It's got some sort of quirky, non-standard, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Just non-standard characters. A little bit heavier body, a little bit bolder presentation. Bites back a little bit, you know. It's kind of like Jacob's Ladder, where Jacob was fighting with the angel and going back and forth, wrestling. You should say wrestling, which is a very unusual story. But and then Jacob got a new name, Israel, which meant God's struggle. God's struggle. So that might have been a metaphorical, or even if you want to say a metaphysical name that would sort of like forecast the future, you see, telling us about the future, which, of course, if you read the rest of the story, it does forecast the future. But Jacob, and then he became Israel. All right, but anyway, but just making me think about that. But the single grain got me between a rock and a hard place. You know, it's got me feeling funny on this side, funny on that side. It's like, I don't know what to think about it. You know, I like it. That one is a favorite here. You're talking about Powers Gold Label. I would be very open to trying that. But you see, this Busker got me perplexed because in some ways I don't like it. The single grain, I don't like it. But in other ways, I do like it. And it's fascinating and it's challenging and it makes you think and you got to sip on it, think on it, drink on it. I still don't like the idea of taking a blended Irish whiskey. You take the pieces of the blend and you try to sell them as a separate product, which, well, they don't try to do it. They actually do it. And they're not the only ones. They all do it. And it's kind of a game, a scam, if you want to call it a scam. But it's not really a scam because they're showing you up front on their website what it is. But you don't bother looking at it, you know. But you should bother looking at it. So I have mixed feelings about it. I only paid $10. Just giving you full disclosure. This is the kind of product where I say yes, 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 and then I follow up with no, no, no. But I'm still going to score it like a B, like an 8.5 out of 10. And if you ask me 10 more times, I might give you 10 different scores. I'm really serious about that. So it's your call. Buy it. Try. If it had been $29, obviously it would not be on this video. You would never see it on my channel because I never would have bought it. Okay, O'Neill's. $15.99 my price, but they now selling it for $14.99. It's a little different as well. Well, actually quite different. It's bolder. It bites back. It's got a heavier body. It's not as smooth as traditional Irish whiskeys. I can understand why half the people would not like it, but I think it's got a lot of character, a lot of interesting presentation, and I do like it. Is it a private label for Total Wine & More? Most likely. I can't say that definitively, but I do believe that's probably the case that they gave me. But ultimately, if you go to Total Wine and they got it for $14.99, I would strongly recommend buying it. But get ready because it's gonna challenge you. You know, you might be the 50% that can't stand it. You know, you might buy it and come back to me later and make comments like, you said I should buy it and it's terrible. I hate it. What's wrong with you? Why'd you tell me to do that? And then I would come back to you and say, well, wait a minute. I gave a recommendation, but I qualified it with a lot of underneath information saying, wait, I don't like it. It's maybe a little tough to take and so forth. So it's not for everybody. I get that. And you should get that. And so if you run out there on halfway information, don't get angry at me. But why would you get angry? You pay $14.99. $14.99 is like what you pay for a 4-pack of pint cans of craft beer. Half of the time doesn't even taste good. But for an Irish whiskey, that's very low. Very low. John Mallory says, frosty mug. I drank 2 beers after work today. If anybody wants to know which of those beers I drank, I'll let you know. But if you want to know, I don't want to bore people with that. But I did drink 2 after work. So it's I would just say it's like when you look at the latest line in the the betting line, like San Francisco 3.5 point favorites over LA, that kind of thing. I would just call it a pick 'em. I'll say pick 'em. But I think if that's the case, you go with the O'Neill's because you're saving so much money. I mean, $14.99. Give me a break. That's a deal. Even if it's I don't think it's questionable. I'm not saying it's questionable. I just think the way they do it could bother some people is what I'm trying to say. Now, what's the last one coming into play? That's the Iden Stills. Now, Iden Stills will not be as controversial. Thank you, everybody, for these good emoji comments. Frothy mug, smiley face, thumbs up, and saying sweet. And I might go listen to the sweet tonight. I might go listen to a barroom blitz. I might start to think that love is like oxygen. Cheaper than Patty's by $6. Laughing out loud. I know. But the last one I have coming into play is Iden Stills. Don't know what Ide is, and I don't know what Stills is. Okay. Doesn't much matter. It was developed about 3 years ago, and it was designed to be a private label for Total Wine & More. I know that's the case. I know that's true because they say it on their website. If you look at the Iden Stills website, it states this product is sold only at Total Wine & More. Okay, private label. It's actually pretty good. It's a very traditional Irish whiskey. They wanted to make one that was just like Jameson, just like Patty's, just like Bushmills, the standard product. Even proper number 12, that quintessential Irish not some kind of like outliers like these two, just like the baseline product. And I think they did a great job with it. And I'm so happy that I only paid 50. Oh, yikes. I'm saying $15.99, but I think it might have been $16.99. But whatever the case, but I didn't pay a lot. No. I do hope Eastwood heard of your channel, Jay, considering he has been in every bar. Well, I hope so too, John Mallory. I don't know who you're talking about. But now the man in the back is ready to crack as he raises his hands to the sky. Right. Oh, man, the great, sweet, the sweet shop. Sweet, the sweet. Well, if you want to listen to some great tunes from them, but you say, I don't like hard music. I can't take it. It's too heavy for me. I can't handle it. Okay, well, that's fine. And I get that. Don't listen to the 16s. Don't listen to well, yeah, don't listen to them. Yeah, because they got a lot of heavy stuff in there. But the record company kept saying, make light, make soft rock. That's what people like, pop rock. They're like, okay, but we'd rather make heavy metal. They're like, oh, no, you don't want to do that. Nobody likes heavy metal. Everybody hates Black Sabbath. Look at them. They're never going anywhere. And they're like, okay, we'll make Willie. Okay, now the man, okay, I have the Busker. I think it's pretty good, says Jeffrey Lyons. Now, you don't have the single malt. You don't have the single grain, though. You probably have the Busker Green label, right? The triple distilled. It's a ballroom blitz. Yep. 95-year-old Clint Eastwood. Oh, talking about the spooks. Hey, Jay, look up Spec Outfit. Oh, I've been subscribed to his channel, John, since 1973, when they had the Plymouth. What was it? The Plymouth, the Hang 10, the Plymouth. Oh, I'm sorry. The Dodge, the Plymouth Valiant, and the Dodge Dart. Oh yeah, the Dodge Dart Hang 10. I'm sorry, the Dodge Dart Hang 10. I've been watching his channel since they had the Hang 10 from Dodge. Or was it a Plymouth? I can't figure it out because it was the same car. Okay. Oh, that's great, Jay. Ha ha ha. That's great. All right. And like John Lennon said, I'll give you everything I've got for a little peace of mind. All right. My favorite part about heavy metal is when Spinal Tap ordered the 18-inch tall Stonehenge. That comes from Black Sabbath, actually. Because when Black Sabbath did their 1983 tour, they ordered these huge, huge, whatever the composite material was, Stonehenge set. So there was some confusion, about how tall it was supposed to be or something. And then when they ordered it and it got delivered, it would not fit on any stage. Like they couldn't get it through the doors, and they couldn't get it set up on any music hall stage, like even arenas, like, oh, I don't know, like Ellis, Louisiana State University, Assembly Center, or I like big places, Lakefront Arena. I'm talking about my local places. I'm thinking of where they would have played. So Tony Iommi said we lost so much money off that because we only used it like 4 times. We could not get it through the doors and could not get it set up. So yeah, of course, in Spinal Tap, it's like this little thing. It's like 4 foot tall. I thought Spinal Tap was cute. Not exactly funny, but it was like, like quaint. It was sort of like Zelig. It was like one of the first like mockumentaries. Like Zelig was the 82 or 83 mockumentary where the guy became Greek, at one point. But and then they made This is Spinal Tap, and that was very interesting in some ways. And then they talked about getting lost in the concert hall and they couldn't find where the arena door was to get into the arena. And a lot of heavy metal groups or rock groups said, like Deep Purple said, we had that problem. We could not find, like Kiss said that we could not find where to go. We got lost. It was so comical, and frustrating. But and then they made that whole series of mockumentaries like Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and the one about the wind and all. But it's kind of like repetitive, It's like, okay, we get it. And like Steve Martin said around 1981, I realized everybody got the joke. So there was no use doing that stand-up anymore because everybody got the joke. So it wasn't funny any. There was no humor in it anymore because I would go out on stage and everybody's like, they get it already. So he was like, okay. Once everybody's got the joke, there's no point in going on. And he said, I'll just go into acting. And he did, fabulous movies. Of course, we know that. Father of the Bride and all those great movies, But back when Steve Martin had everybody going, when he had them, like his great appearances, it was amazing. People didn't understand, sort of like Andy Kaufman. They didn't get it, but then they would get it, and then they finally got it, but they were like, "What's going on? What? Is this a joke?" I mean, it is a joke, but you don't get the joke because it's like a double envelopment joke. Okay, my favorite part about. Oh yeah, okay, all right. So anyway, I'm gonna say the winner, with some reservations, but I'm gonna say the winner is the O'Neills. I'm not saying that because it's inexpensive. I'm just saying that because I think the overall flavor is a little bit more developed. But I don't know. It's subject to debate. All right. Well, tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to come on with another early morning one. I got off track this weekend with all the college football. But I can't help it. I go to all these games. But then with the Iden stills, and then get ready because we're off to Scotland for the single malt. And I know a lot of viewers love single malt Scottish whiskey, and I love it too, honestly. I don't really have the great ones in my collection. Obviously, I don't, but I have some, decent ones. And I'm just getting started. I've only been doing it for 9 years, just in the early stages of it. All right, we all take care. Bye bye, everybody.